Hi, and welcome to Designing with Casual Elegance. I am your host and designer, Susan Sage. And before we get going on today's show, I just want to say welcome to any new viewers. We hope you like and subscribe. And thank you to all of the viewers who have been following us. The other thing I will say is we are a nonprofit and we can use all the help we can get. So thank you all. And today we are going to talk about a brunch or breakfast for New Year's. So I will set the table. And for part two, we are going to talk about tricks and tips of putting away your seasonal decorations. So the first thing I'm going to do is that we have a black and gold theme. We're going to have white accents. Okay, so we get that set. And for the centerpiece, I am going to raise up a little bit. This is a designer's best friend. And the reason styrofoam is so important, first of all, you can get different levels if you are doing a tablescape. And if you wanted to take toothpicks and cut smaller pieces to make it taller, you can. The other thing that this comes in really handy for is above your kitchen cabinets, if they don't go to the ceiling and you want to do display on your cabinets, you can lay down pieces of styrofoam. They have it at Hobby Lobby. It's a real firm styrofoam. This is from Packing, which is why it has such a beautiful shape. And just kind of makes it all even so that you can display. And I think other than the Christmas Village, we have another kind of an everyday display to show. And that can demonstrate your style. So we'll get our styrofoam in there. And then we'll start on our centerpiece. We have these wonderful lanterns. And this opening is really small. So to get a tall candle in there, it wasn't working. So in staying with our color scheme, we're going to use bottle brush trees. Okay, so we've got our foundation. And we're going to do a little glam today, little bit of glamour. So I have this wonderful garland. I always think of New Year's Eve, well, maybe not New Year's Day as being dressy, but New Year's Eve. So we have to have a little glitter. And always fluff, fluff, fluff. We've got some lights. Probably aren't going to be able to see because it's so bright in here. And to complement the table, I do have a couple little chandelettes on each side of our wreath. They are battery-operated candles that are in there, and they can be adjusted to different heights. And of course, if I were doing these at home, I would find a really pretty decorative bracket, but we are in a TV studio. So a little more dress up for above our mantle. Next, we're going to add, in addition to our little lights, some candles. And these are great candles. They're Mackenzie Childs. All of these items have come from our sponsor, Avenue Design in downtown Rogers. They're so kind to let me use their product. And we have another, of course, we're sticking with our color scheme here. This garland is great. It's actually very pliable. Okay, and since we're doing this as a breakfast, I'm actually going to split the table. We've got these wonderful plates. This larger one could be a charger or just your main course plate. Not going to use flatware today. We all know that we need silverware. And wonderful little dishes. I love, this is the one time I'm actually using paper plates. Not something I've done in the past all year, but these are just so fun and decorative, and I think they speak holiday. If we can get them apart. And I love this little polka dot, which is really hard to see. I don't know if they can. And instead of guest napkins or cloth napkins, we have some little Celebrate cocktail napkins. And of course, we cannot have a meal without a drink. So these can be water glasses. They could be a large mimosa. They could be a cranberry, sparkling cranberry cider. They could be a Bloody Mary, whatever your pleasure. And if we want to be just plain and have coffee or tea, let's get out some coffee. Coffee mugs. And then our menu. We are going to have some fresh fruit in season. Not everything's going to be fattening. And some buttermilk biscuit sweet rolls. And our bourbon pecan bacon. And our main dish was just going to be a green chili bacon and egg casserole. So we've got things set up. Now you can also add little place cards, which I didn't put up here, but these are cute little place card holders that almost disappear, but lots of fun, so that you can identify the different dishes so everybody knows what they're going to be eating. You know, sit back, relax, have a nice leisurely breakfast, because what is going to happen is when we're done, we are going to talk about tricks and tips for storing all of your Christmas decorations. So, you know, I just kind of love the black and gold to finish off the holidays. We have still got a lot of red behind us because that is going to be what we're packing up. You know, and I love the lanterns. You could have a lot of fun with this, doing different things, incorporating them. You could put these up on the mantle, which would be a lot of fun. So anyway, that is our breakfast. And we want to take a little break. And when we come back, we'll start talking about loading up our Christmas decorations. welcome back. Okay, in this portion of the show, we are going to talk about tricks and tips in packing up all your seasonal decorations. Your seasonal decorations can be any season. I mean, we have Easter, we have fall, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and of course Christmas. Christmas is probably the biggest one that any of us have. So I'm going to begin. If you remember, in one of the earlier Christmas shows, I had garland around the table attached below and all held with command hooks. So the first thing you're going to do is remove your hooks, come off very easily, save them for your next project. And we actually did have hooks for stockings. If they do get stuck like that, you can take a screwdriver and pry it off. Won't hurt anything. So this is the garland that we had around the table. Didn't have any lights in it. And it has its own bin. Easiest way to do garland, unless you have a large storage space where you can put big hooks up and just hang it across. You'll see later that for wreaths, we actually hang them face to face in the garage. And certainly, you're not going to hurt it by smashing it down. It's very forgiving. Now, we had bows going around the table. And the way you could put your bows in with the garland if you think that's how you're going to use it next year, but you may not. So I would do a separate bin for bows and ribbons. And the best way to store your bows, keep them nice and fluffed, is to stuff your loops. Tissue works well, bubble wrap works real well. And you don't have to do every loop. You just want to do a few. You can toss them all in a bin together, and they'll all stay nice and puffed up. Take them out next year, and they are ready to go. Now, if you're going to use your ribbon flat, you want to take it apart. The best thing to roll them on, toilet tissue holder. So much easier than if you wanted to wrap it back on the ribbon bolt. Because of those two ends, it's very hard to get a nice tight roll with your ribbon. So you can either take the ends off of that or save your paper towel and your toilet tissue rolls. This also comes in handy for any fairy lights that you have. And I think this year my husband's going to use it for, we have some curtain lights outside. And they're individual strands that are hanging straight down. He said they were so twisted when they came, but he said, save all the rolls because I'm going to need them. So you just roll them up. And the other thing you always, always want to do, take out your batteries. If you have ever had a situation where you've left your batteries in and they become corroded, that little light packet will not be any good. You will not use it. And these, oh gosh, I've had them for a few years. Just use them over and over again. If you treat them right, you're good to them, they will last for a very, very long time. Same thing, battery-operated candles. Get your battery, unless you're going to use them somewhere else in the house, and frequently that's what I will do. Not so much with the outdoor candles, but inside, take out your batteries. And again, it'll last for a long time. They're just small tricks and tips. Now, you saw when I did the breakfast table, that garland that I had a lot of glitter on it. And that tablecloth is probably full of it. So the best way to eliminate glitter at Christmas, static guard. You just spray it, give it a minute or so, and then you can vacuum it up, you can wipe it up. We put fake snow on our tree, and of course it does leave a big mess, especially the village down below. Well, I probably go through a can of static guard just trying to release the static so it doesn't stick to everything. You know, it's like we shake it off the tree as we're taking it down, sweep it up, and do it again. But this can be your best friend when it comes to really anything. When we lived in Colorado, I used to carry it in my briefcase because during the winter, your clothes would stick to you. So I would take it out, we'd be at meetings, and then of course everybody wanted some because we didn't want our skirts sticking to our legs. So anyway, remember, static guard, good thing for helping you clean up really any time that you're going to use glitter. Or maybe you're doing confetti for a 40th birthday party or whatever, baby shower. Okay, and greenery. What I like to do is put these face to face. If you just stack them on top of each other, they're going to flatten out. And I like to keep my greens, and again, these are not new. I've had them for several years. Easy to fluff back out if you store them properly. So stick them together, and then you can go ahead and put them in your bin. Same thing. You know, this is a longer one, but put them together. You know, keep them nice. And all of these items have become so expensive that you want to preserve them for as long as you can. And, you know, unless you're going to go out and buy all new Christmas decorations, it gets a little expensive. I mean, it would be fun to do one day, but storing your things properly really does make a big difference. This is another little trick I like to use. This is actually 2 different green sprays that I put together to make a corner, which I've used outside at the front door, but also just around a picture like I had up here. Just adds another little touch that you can carry throughout the house. You know, there are just so many different things that you can do if you really love Christmas and you want to go all out decorating. We always do a big party, so we actually go pretty big. And again, I would put these together and then put them in. It also helps from a storage standpoint so that you have all of your decorations will take up less space if you have them in the right kind of bins. So, and again, another beautiful bow, which I would leave together, and of course I would stuff it. And ornaments. Oh my. Okay. This company is not around anymore, but Grandin Road and Balsam Hill do ornament storage. What's really nice about this, it's heavy, but you can take it apart. Actually has 3 of these. And you can adjust where you put your ornaments. Smaller ornaments, obviously, but then for your larger ornaments, if we put them next to each other, you can see they are different sizes to accommodate what you have. This guy's kind of a big ornament, so of course would go in. But then this teardrop, and here's another shape. So again, you can set this up whichever way is going to work best for you and the shape of the ornaments that you have. They're also good for storing, well, let's say if you have Santas or Christmas plates, really a lot of different things. And again, could use it year-round for other holidays that you have really nice collectibles or items that need a little bit of extra care. The other thing that I haven't touched on yet are collectibles. Well, collectibles, villages are not as popular as they once were. However, I think they're coming back in a big way. You've seen them at Pottery Barn. You've seen them all over. So for all of your collectibles, always keep your original boxes. Not only will it help keep them in good shape, but if you ever do resell them, it will help retain the value. Every village piece that I have under my tree and on the cabinets has its own storage piece. And the way that we do it, we have big black tubs that we put all of these containers in, and that's all Christmas storage. The green bin there is for bows and ribbons, but the big black and yellow totes are all village pieces, trees, anything that we use under the tree, or all of the, like I said, collectible items. Most of them are porcelain or ceramic, so save these containers. And then you want to be very careful packing them up, putting them back in. Each one comes with its own light. I don't use their individual lights. I think a couple shows ago I showed how you can get a 6-strand. It's very hard to get the lights back into these little containers. You know, so take good care of your collectibles. That's a big investment. I started collecting in 1985, and I did stop a few years ago, but a few people have given me pieces and have offered to give me more pieces. I have over 50 houses at this time, so that's why I've got so many bins full of all of these wonderful Dickens and New England cottages. Then we also have Martini Santa, another collectible that's by Karen Didion. She does the most beautiful Santas. She also does Easter rabbits that are a lot of fun, and a couple different, she does Halloween. So if you are collecting Karen Didion's, and here again, I don't have a whole lot. My husband is a martini drinker, so of course I had to have Martini Santa. And again, has its own box. The other thing I'm going to share with you is probably not the best place to put your seasonal decorations is your attic. It gets so hot up in an attic during the summer months that it can actually ruin some of your decorations. I had one instance where a client stored her tree in an attic, and it did take a long time to fluff it, but in the meantime, there was so much that fell out of the tree because it had dried out. So you want to be very careful and pay attention to where you're going to put all this stuff. I also have popcorn and a movie Santa. And a table in the way. And I think he's as cute as can be. He's just kind of lounging back and enjoying his movie. And our wreath. Of course, that just gets hung in the garage with the other wreaths. Some of the hooks are not full because those wreaths are still on display outside. But a very easy way to store big items like this. And again, putting them face to face, back to back, will save you room, and it helps keep these really nice and fluffy. Okay, we have still some other things. The birch logs that I have in the fireplace. These, of course, we only put out at Christmas, and I really wanted to have some of the fairy lights in there, but my batteries ran out. So those will go back into storage also. So we have still some great ideas for taking care of all of your seasonal decorations. Like I said, year-round, you want to take care of everything you have. Anymore, they're a big investment. You know, ribbons, your wired ribbon is expensive, but it's worth every penny because they stay. This ribbon or bow is probably a couple years old, but you can see it was stuffed, and then it goes back onto however I choose to use it that year. And tree, we do have a Balsam Hill tree. Love it. It comes with huge bags, but also has a separate bag for your stand. So if you are looking for a new artificial tree, it's great to find one that has a separate storage bag for the stand so you don't lose any of the screws to tighten it down. They also come with gloves to fluff your tree, which is great because anyone who has fluffed a tree, I really don't like to wear gloves. I get in there and my hands and arms get a little scratched up. It all goes away. It's okay. So anyway, those are some ideas that I like to share. Outdoor lights, again, we do wrap, and I think that's pretty much. Anything glass you're going to want to put in bubble wrap. Oh, and there you go. There, ribbon that you're going to use perhaps in a garland, or you want flattened out. I have another little story there. Design firm that I worked for in Kansas City, oh gosh, we would probably decorate up to 60 houses each Christmas season. There was one very particular gentleman who expected the designers to iron every piece of ribbon. Save yourself. Roll it up. It's great. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in today and sharing this time. Also, remind you that we are nonprofit and you could text to donate. I'm really excited about going back into 2024. We will have new shows. We will have new guests, lots of new great ideas. So again, thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe so that we can expand our programming. We would love to offer so much more, but it takes your help. So thank you, and Happy New Year.